Insurrection by hoodlums. Civil rights leaders were quick to deplore the unbridled lawlessness, and Martin Luther King vowed to do all in his power to prevent a recurrence.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into the complex history of African American gangs in America. This narrative spans decades and intertwines with significant socio-economic and political changes. Let's explore how these gangs emerged, evolved, and impacted communities. Our story begins in the early 20th century with the Great Migration. Between 1916 and 1970, over 6 million African Americans moved from the rural South to urban centers in the North and West, seeking better opportunities and escaping Jim Crow laws. In cities like Chicago, Detroit, and Los Angeles, these migrants faced new challenges. They encountered segregation, limited job opportunities, and overcrowded, under-resourced neighborhoods. This environment laid the groundwork for the emergence of gangs. Initially, African American social clubs formed for mutual support and protection against racial hostility. However, as economic disparities grew and police protection remained inadequate, some of these groups began to turn towards more organized forms of self-defense and, eventually, criminal activity. Post-World War II. America saw African American communities continuing to struggle for civil rights. The 1950s and 60s were a time of both hope and turmoil. The civil rights movement sought justice and equality, but economic disparities and systemic racism persisted. In this context, gangs like the Blackstone Rangers in Chicago and the Slawsons in Los Angeles emerged. These gangs initially formed as protection against racial violence and to provide a sense of identity and belonging. However, as time passed, their activities often turned to crime, influenced by the limited economic opportunities available to them. The 1970s and 80s brought significant changes. Deindustrialization hit urban areas hard, leading to high unemployment and poverty. The introduction of crack cocaine in the 1980s exacerbated these issues, leading to a surge in gang activity and violence. African American gangs became deeply involved in the drug trade, further entrenching them in a cycle of crime and poverty. The emergence of African American gangs in America is a story of resilience and struggle, shaped by a history of migration, economic hardship, and the fight for civil rights. By acknowledging and understanding this history, we can better address the issues that persist and work towards a future where all communities thrive. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history.